Hey, this is Rob Brown with the Rob Report. How you doing today? Well, Trump actually comes from out of his spaceship and out of his light into the regular world to discuss Iran and the attacks that Iran did in retaliation to our attack on one of their top generals, which they have every right to do, whether you like it or not.
يا ابو الحسن يا علي يا علي يا ولد طب جوه يا ولد يا ابو الحسن لا اله الا الله علم ريتون دير بالك دير بالك دير بالك لا اله الا الله يا ابو الحسن جوه جوه جوه
But here it is, the Iranian people and the Iranian government said, we're not trying to kill Americans, contrary to what Mike Pompeo and the rest of these numbnuts are trying to tell y'all. If we did, we would have did it with a surprise attack. But we didn't surprise attack you. We're letting you know that we're not going to roll over and be a punk, that we're going to defend our country, and we're going to show you how we defend our country, just in case you do something like this again. Then the next time, it's going to be a surprise attack. But I'm forewarning you, like you did Syria, I'm sending a missile to your base. Roll out before it comes. And that's exactly what happened. They all rolled out. Everybody was safe. They showed their strength. And here's Trump's reaction.
States to address the nation and the world.
As long as I'm president of the United States.
Now, before I get into this, I know some of my white brothers and sisters going to say something. Everybody behind that president is white men. Now, don't get me wrong, Colin Powell was the black man or the black face of the entire attack on Iraq. Went to the UN, talked to Congress about yellow uranium cake. Here's Trump with some of the whitest men in America talking about the attack a brown country did on another brown country territory. In other words, Trump is getting ready to explain what happened when Iran showed that we're not going to be bullied around. We'll attack back. We will attack you back, but we're going to do it more smarter and convenient. But we just letting you know, we know where your bases are, bruh. And we can hit those bases if we want. And we just proven that. But we gave you a warning because we really don't want war and we're really trying to escalate this. But stop trying to make us your child. We're not your child. We got our own life. We want to do our own thing. You shouldn't be trying to come here and muscle us into having a relationship with you on your terms. President addresses the nation after Iran attacks.
Iran will never be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. Good morning.
Oh, no good morning first. He just comes straight out. Iran will never be able to have a nuclear weapon. Yeah, America shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. Russia shouldn't have a nuclear weapon. Nobody should be able to have a nuclear weapon. So how about we step up and be the leader that we supposed to be, instead of telling people do as I say, not as I do. Stop bullying around people who you believe is trying to get a nuclear weapon. What evidence do you have that Iran, they're going back to this old talking point that Iran is using their rich uranium to build a weapon when they're actually using it to bring energy to their country. Let's keep going.
I'm pleased to inform you the American people should be extremely grateful.
Now, look at this. He's tired. Yet at the same time, that isn't his natural orange. That's nervous blush. Because even though he's a jerk at times, and even though he's a president, this is his first time. And when it's your first time doing something like that, it can get a bit scary. Now look at all these people around here like they all mad and all. Get out of here. Get out of here. Y'all used another country to smoke out somebody that y'all was trying to get rid of. And not only did you bomb that person, but you bombed that country at the same time. And that man came to talk peace with with Iraq. The quell tensions because they had a common enemy, the same enemy we have, and that's ISIS. But we figure, if we gonna get them, we better get them now. We might not be able to get them again. This dude ain't Osama bin Laden. This guy is not plotting to do attacks in America. The only evidence that you got is this guy's trying to plot to do attack on American citizens. You haven't proven that. Many plots that we had on Iraqis. Many plots that we had on Iranians. Many times we played part in attacks and then we tried to blame other people for it. Because that's what we do.
And happy. No Americans were harmed in last night's attack by the Iranian regime. We suffered no casualties. All of our soldiers are safe, and only minimal damage was sustained at our military bases. Our great American forces are prepared for anything.
They prepared your great American force. Our great American soldiers, shout out to my brother Reggie Carnegie, I love you, man. Our soldiers didn't know this was coming on their own. The Iranian people sent a message that, look, we're letting you know that we're well able to strike. You attack us, we're able to attack you back. We're not these little punk nations can't do anything. We got money and weapons too. We got an army too. Now we've been trying to go along with you guys, but this bullying around is just too much. You killed one of our best leaders. Beloved leaders by the people, and our people are in mourning. You really struck at their heart. And you struck at our heart, and you don't expect us to strike back? This ain't just some random person that got killed by one of your drone strike, like how you killed your own American with a strong strike trying to get Al-Qaeda and Al-Qaeda and Al-Nusra and ISIS. This ain't that deal of somebody that you don't know and don't care about. These people care about this man. They looked at him as an icon. So we got to show you that we're not going to take this mess, but we're going to show even more of a compassion that this time we're going to give you a chance to get out. We just want to show our strength to you too.
Iran appears to be standing down, which is a good thing for all parties concerned and a very good thing for the world. No American or Iraqi lives were lost.
What's up with the...
Because of the precautions taken, the dispersal of forces, and an early warning system that worked very well.
See, he want to say this is something that we did. We knew this was coming. So, of course, he's going to try to blame this on his defense. He know it wasn't the defense. He knew the truth is the Iraqi people let it be known that we're going to attack, get your people out. We're going to show us. We got to let you know that, look, we ain't nothing to play with, but we care about your soldiers. We don't want to kill your soldiers contrary to what you believe. We don't hate you. You trying to get us to hate you, but we don't hate you. And to show that we don't hate you, we're going to bomb, but we're going to give you time enough to show, get your people out of there. Because we got to prove to you that we're capable of defending ourselves. We're not going to be a little punk and let you do whatever you want to us. And Trump knew this. You could see it in his face. This would have been a disaster if they would have hit that base and killed a bunch of soldiers surprisingly. A surprise attack. Shock and awe.
I salute the incredible skill and courage of America's men and women in uniform. For far too long, all the way back to 1979 to be exact.
Now you're going to go in the past and blame up the fault of Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan and try to take ownership of it.
Nations have tolerated Iran's destructive and destabilizing behavior in the Middle East and beyond. Those days are over. Iran has been...
What nations, bruh? What nations, Trump? Israel? Saudi Arabia? That's about it. Because Iran hasn't threatened Europe. Iran hasn't threatened America, the country.
The leading sponsor of terrorism and their pursuit of nuclear weapons.
We are the leading sponsor of terrorists. We fund terrorist organizations that attack countries that we don't like. We are the leading terrorists. We ourselves are terrorizing nations. We ourselves are partnering with other terrorist governments like Saudi Arabia and Israel. The governments now, not the people, the government. Who believe that our money gives us the ability to go anywhere we want, do whatever we want to do, and ain't nothing y'all gonna do about it because we're a superpower and we'll blow y'all to smithereens, so get up out our face.
Threatens the civilized world. We will never let...
What is the civilized world? A civilized world is a world where there's no war. A civilized world is a world where people who paying taxes, their money is reinvested back into them more than is reinvested in protecting the country or investing in world domination or world takeover or policing the world. That's civilized. A bunch of white men dropping bombs and using the military, which consists of all colors, but it's these top-level white men that's pretty much in control of sending these guys out, putting their life on the line. Their lives not going to be on the line because they're sitting somewhere in the office in the Pentagon. Or they're sitting in the White House with the president looking on a CCC TV. Is that civilized? To send a bunch of people to put their life on the line as pawns in your game of world domination? No, it's not civilized at all.
That happened. Last week, we took decisive action to stop a ruthless terrorist from threatening American lives.
So you claim that he's a ruthless terrorist, and you have no evidence proving that. And even if he was ruthless, is he a terrorist? Guess what they call you now, buddy boy? A ruthless terrorist. They dub you a terrorist. Why? Because you dropped a bomb on one of their top leaders in an allied country. You use our allies to smoke them out on peace talks. He going out thinking, okay, we can bridge the gap between Iraq and Iranians, and you going to kill the guy on his way to the peace talk. And then you're going to lie about that.
At my direction, the United States military eliminated the world's top terrorist, Qasem Soleimani.
At your direction. So you admit to assassinating this guy. We're not at war with Iran. We're not trying to take out, you taking out a general in a country where we have peace with is considered assassination. And you admitted that you had that man assassinated. It's just like David in the Bible. David got in a relationship with one of his general's wives, got her pregnant. But he tried to cover it up. And how did he cover it up? He sent that man from being one of the top generals to the front lines of war because he knew that that man could get killed, and then he can kind of cover up for all this stuff. And then he could probably grieve the grieving wife and then probably bring her in as one of his concubines and get her pregnant to cover up for his foolishness. Donald Trump is covering up for his foolishness right now. I know that's a bad analogy. No, that's a good analogy.
As the head of the Quds Force, Soleimani was personally responsible for some of the absolutely worst atrocities.
What are they? You got any pictures? You got any audio of him ordering those? Or do you guys just make this up from your former CIA, now Secretary of State, who has been proven to be a liar over and over again, Mike Pompeo? Are you believing whatever they tell you? Have you become a puppet, Trump, of the CIA and the Pentagon? Because your show turned your back on a lot of your supporters with this action.
He trained terrorist armies, including Hezbollah, launching terrorist strikes against civilian targets. He fueled bloody civil wars all across the region. He viciously wounded and murdered thousands of U.S. troops, including the planting of roadside bombs that maim and dismember their victims.
This Iranian guy did this. Where did he do it? In Iran? Or did he do it in Iraq? Again, what is your proof? You saying these things don't make it true. And you people sit up here believing that, well, if he said it, it's true. He is not God. This guy's a bona fide liar. He's lied before. And what makes you think he's telling the truth right now?
Soleimani directed the recent attacks on U.S. personnel in Iraq that badly wounded 4 service members and killed 1 American, and he orchestrated the violent assault on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad.
So he killed 1 American, and he ordered the assault on the embassy in Baghdad. This man who's coming to do peace talks with top top Iraqi leaders ordered bombings in Baghdad on the embassy. That sounds like an oxymoron. I'm here traveling on peace, but yet I don't want peace, so I send people to bomb. Get out of here, Trump. Stop blaming ISIS and rebels attack on some man that you want to assassinate. Sounds like a good strategy. Okay, if there's an ISIS attack, let's blame it on the next leader that we're trying to target.
In recent days, he was planning new attacks on American targets, but we stopped him. Soleimani's hands were drenched in both American and Iranian blood.
Oh, dramatic. Oh, the dramatic. His hands was drenched in American blood and Iranian blood or Iraqi blood. Not more than Americans. Not more than our American government. Our American government is covered with blood like it was Kerry. That man's hands, let's say this stuff is true. His hand is nothing compared to what you, Obama, and Bush has done when it came to fighting terrorism in the Middle East.
He should have been terminated long ago. By removing Soleimani, we have sent a powerful message to terrorists. If you value your own life, you will not threaten the lives of our people.
And the Iranian people just sent a message. If you kill one of our beloved leaders, you can call him a terrorist all you want. You have no proof of that. And if you kill one of our beloved leaders, we're going to label you a terrorist. And we're going to be seeking out to get you. This stuff is bad, man. We need to stop doing this violence. We need to stop these wars. Because of Trump listening to a dumb intelligence agency that'll say anything to get the military complex contracts and money, he fell for it when he said he wasn't going to do it. Now he's in the middle of this mess. What is termed an assassination. This is not termed attacking a terrorist. See, bin Laden claimed consistently, him and Al-Qaeda claimed consistently these attacks. This man never claimed these attacks. And we don't have any evidence saying that he was behind these attacks. But now we can say that if any attack happens in a region on one American, 2 Americans, or 100 Americans, we can say somebody else did it and take them out. That's the precedence that we just set. And because we did this to this man, of all people, the number 2 guy in Iran, we got a whole entire country that hates Trump. And a lot of them hate Americans because they believe most American people put this man in office to do this. So by default, they're going to hate us. And by fault, we become an enemy. And by fault, his fault, Trump's fault, we're in harm's way. We're in harm's danger. Now, whenever we travel, if we're going in a heavy Iranian area, we get a little nervous now because of him. We're not more safe, and we're not going to be more safe in the future now this guy's gone. Terrorism is not a person. Terrorism is a mindset. You're going to always have this no matter how many years, how many people you kill. You're still going to have terrorists. And if you don't watch yourself, you yourself will become a terrorist because you're going around terrorizing people who you think are terrorists. And this just terrorizing the entire nation right now, including the United States. You not only have brought terrorism to the country of Iran, but you have terrorized your own countrymen. And when the Iraqi forces and the Iraqi parliament label you as a terrorist and put a bounty on your head, that means they're labeling us. They may label us, even though they stood up and said it's not against you personally, American people, it's your president. But the bottom line is, you're a representation of America. And what you did can cause other people to see that we, or believe that we, are okay with you doing this, and we're not.
We continue to evaluate options in response to Iranian aggression. The United States will immediately impose additional punishing economic sanctions on
Iranian aggression. What about American aggression? Economic sanctions Additional economic sanctions is American aggression. You're starving people to death. You're keeping jobs and commerce. You're shutting down. Let me keep going.
On the Iranian regime. These powerful sanctions will remain until Iran changes its behavior.
Until Iran submits. See, again, here we are trying to be the parents. You're going to go in your room. You're not going to have no TV. You're not going to eat any dinner tonight until you come back and apologize for what you did to your sister. We got to stop this, man.
In recent months alone, Iran has seized ships in international waters, fired an unprovoked strike on Saudi Arabia, and shot down 2 U.S. drones. Iran's hostility.
They have every right to shoot down drones if it's coming in their region. Why do we have U.S. drones going around in Iran? Because we're trying to be nosy. And they have every right to shoot them down. Just like if Iran sent one of their drones here, we have every right to shoot that sucker down. That is not aggression. That is just what you're supposed to do. Defend your country and defend your territory. Right now, you're in somebody else's territory, Trump. This is not defending the United States territory. Our military bases in that land, that's not our land over there. You ever wondered, if you ever look at the map of all the bases, all of them are surrounding Iran? This thing is planned. This thing is strategized for a long time. Those bases are not surrounding Iran by coincidence. We got something they want. And we got to do something to get that regime out in order to get it. And we've been there a long time. We ain't got it yet because they standing their ground. And we got to punish them into submission. Until we get what we want, we're going to keep posing these sanctions. Now, the bottom line is they hoping the people will turn against the government and side with us. But that ain't happening after this, Doc. Not at all.
Substantially increased after the foolish Iran nuclear deal was signed in 2013. And they were given $150 billion, not to mention.
It was foolish for you to tear it up, and they wasn't given $150 billion. We took that $150 billion and we gave it back to them. Yet, you give Israel billions of dollars every month.
$1.8 billion in cash. Instead of saying thank you to the United States, they chanted death to America.
They did say thank you to the United States. They say death to America because you just assassinated one of their leaders, Trump. What do you expect them to do? Thank you, America, we love you. Thank you, Trump, we love you, Trump. No, that's not what they're going to do, man. They're not going to do that. You just became the most hated person in Iran. You and Mike Pompeo. Not the American people, because a lot of them still love us. You became the most hated man, not just in Iran, but this stuff is going to shift all around. You will become the most hated man in the entire region of the Middle East, and if you don't stop with this bullying, you're going to be the most hated man in the world. And we know that is not what you really want. You want people to love you, even though you would rather have them love to hate you than hate you. I don't know if you guys understand that.
In fact, they chanted death to America the day the agreement was signed. Then Iran went on a terror spree, funded by the...
Oh, this guy with these lies, man. Where did they chant that out? Where they got that agreement and they chanted death to America? Now, there may be some people who didn't want the agreement and chanted death to Americans, some Iranian people. That don't make up for the entire country. That don't even make up for the government. We got people that chant in the United States. Stupid stuff, but that's no representation of the entire body of America or the country or the country's leadership. The stupid stuff you doing has nothing to do with the entire country. Stop trying to play these games. I hate when these people play these games talking about the Iranians people or the Russian people, or American people, when the people ain't had nothing to do with this. It's you numbnut leaders that's doing this stupid stuff.
The money from the deal and created hell in Yemen, Syria, Lebanon, Afghanistan, and Iraq.
We did that.
The missiles fired last night at us and our allies were paid for with the funds made available by the last administration. The regime also
So, your press secretary or your strategist or your speechwriter decide to make this an Obama thing, that you want to blame the weapons attack on the base that didn't kill anybody was paid for by the Obama administration. No, those people know how. Those people have their own resources that they can sell to other countries, and you cannot stop them. Those people are not poor. That is a rich country, and they have money. You're not holding anybody's money back, even though we stole their money. But they're still able to do business. They're still able to raise money. He's sitting up here trying to blame this on Obama. This guy right here. This is the mark of a white supremacist. The black guy became president before I became president. The black guy's popular, so I gotta undo and one up the black guy. His obsession with Obama is unhinged. This is why this guy shouldn't be president, because the only reason he ran for president is not because he wanted to really do great for the world. It's because he wanted to make a mockery of Obama. Why? Because Obama made a mockery of him. He egged him on. He egged him on. He poked and provoked this guy. And look at the result of this. This foolishness. He gonna blame this on Obama.
tightened the reins on their own country, even recently killing 1,500 people at the many protests that are taking place all throughout Iran. The very defective JCPOA expires shortly anyway and gives Iran a clear and quick path to nuclear breakout. Iran must abandon its nuclear ambitions and end its support for terrorism. The time has come for the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Russia, and China to recognize this reality. They must now break away from the remnants of the Iran deal.
So now you're going to make an enemy out of everybody. You're going to make an enemy about everybody. You're saying they must stop their nuclear ambition. Why don't you use your words right, bruh? They must stop any ambition they may have of developing a nuclear weapon. There's nothing wrong with nuclear. Americans have nuclear. We developed nuclear energy. We had nuclear facilities all over this country helping us produce electricity and all kinds of energy. They can't do the same thing? No, you don't. You don't want them doing that because you want them doing business with us for electricity and any kind of other energy. They can't do for themselves. They have to abandon their nuclear ambition. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious with nuclear energy if it's going to provide energy to your people. Now, it might be wrong to develop it, to use it to develop a nuclear weapon, but who are we to talk? Because we're a fan of nuclear weapons too. Matter of fact, Trump was trying to tear up the agreement to cause us to go back to developing nuclear weapons, but yet he's going to tell Iranians that they can't develop their own nuclear weapon. Why? Because they may point them at our two buddies, Saudi Arabia and Israel. And nobody's saying that they're doing that. But if you keep provoking them, if Israel keep provoking them, if Saudi Arabia keep provoking them, why do you don't think they have a right to defend themselves?
or JCPOA. And we must all work together toward making a deal with Iran that makes the world a safer and more peaceful place.
We had a deal that make it more safer and more peaceful, and you ripped it up, you numbnut. You ripped it up. We had a deal. But you want to make a better deal. One by force. One by brute force. You want to use one, you want to have a deal where you can actually stranglehold people. When that was a handshake deal, a real deal. And you're supposed to be the author of the art of the deal? If that was the art of the deal, I read your book. Good thing your book wasn't nothing like that. But this bullying to get what you want, this is not good for us. This is not good for this country.
We must also make a deal that allows Iran to thrive and prosper and take advantage of its enormous untapped potential. Iran can be a great country. Peace and stability cannot prevail.
It can be a great country as long as they do business our way.
In the Middle East, as long as Iran continues to foment violence, unrest, hatred, and war. The civilized world must send a clear and unified message to the Iranian regime. Your campaign of terror, murder, mayhem will not be tolerated any longer.
Tolerated. So in other words, you guys better get on my side. And if you ain't for us, you're against us. That's what Trump is saying. So I'm letting Germany, all of them know, France, you name it. If you ain't on my side on this, then we got a problem. No, that's not it, Doc. They realized that they were following the agreement until you came and ripped it up. Everything was going well until you ripped it up, and you came up with some new strategy, you and Mike Pompeo, some dumb strategy of bullying to get what you want. And you expect these other nations to join forces with you. And what's going to happen? You're going to bully them if they don't? Then you're going to have the entire world against us, and we're heading that way real quickly with you being in office. Now, any other, even it doesn't matter who holds that office right now. If they're not for peace, then they don't need to be president.
It will not be allowed to go forward. Today, I am going to ask NATO to become much more involved in the Middle East process. Over the last 3 years, under my leadership, our economy is stronger than ever before, and America has achieved energy independence. These historic accomplishments change our strategic priorities. These are
so Americans can achieve energy independence, but the Iranians can't. And hold up, didn't you just diss NATO? Didn't you just call them out? And this guy, man.
Accomplishments that nobody thought were possible, and options in the Middle East became available. We are now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. We are independent, and we do not need Middle East oil. The American military has been completely rebuilt under my administration at a cost of $2.5 trillion. U.S. armed forces are stronger than ever before. Our missiles are big, powerful, accurate, lethal, and fast. Under construction are many hypersonic missiles. The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it. We do not want to use it.
No, you just want the money to build it and not use it. But you still want to justify why you got that money. So you're going to find some way to use it to justify why you asked for that money when you ran for office, that you was going to use that money to take care of true American interests, putting that money back into the hands of the American people to better them versus bettering these foreign relations, fake, funky policies that you got. You want to show your military might, and that is no secret. You want to show it. You want to show how much you want to be able to show yourself like Kim Jong-un. You want to show yourself like Hitler and like Stalin. You want to be able to have that high relationship between man and his military. And want to use that man and his military to dominate the freaking world by any means necessary. Like you did today. And like you did last week.
American strength, both military and economic, is the best deterrent. 3 months ago, after destroying 100% of ISIS and its territorial caliphate.
He's going to say you destroyed 100% of ISIS. ISIS still exists. You did not destroy ISIS. ISIS is not dead. You killed a couple leaders, that don't mean they're dead. Al-Qaeda is not dead. Al-Nusra is not dead. It's a mindset and a teaching, and it's waiting for the next generation even if you did kill it. You're not going to be able to kill that ideology. Just like you're not going to ever kill Buddhism, you're not going to ever kill Christianity. It's an ideology, and people step out on that ideology.
We killed the savage leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, who was responsible for so much death, including the mass beheadings of Christians, Muslims, and all who stood in his way. He was a monster.
I give you props for that.
Al-Baghdadi was trying again to rebuild the ISIS caliphate and failed. Tens of thousands of ISIS fighters have been killed or captured during my administration. ISIS is a natural enemy of Iran. The destruction of ISIS is good for Iran. And
so if they're the enemy of Iran, and they're the enemy of Iraq, and they're the enemy of the United States, and they're the enemy of Syria, and they're the enemy of your buddies, and that general was in the forefront of fighting ISIS, and that general was about to meet with Iraq on plans on fighting ISIS, whom you claim you got rid of. Why'd you kill him? Everybody's in agreement ISIS is the enemy. This guy was in the fight to push back ISIS, to destroy him right along with you. Even though he was so-called brutal and hard to, he was in the fight to destroy ISIS. He was not on ISIS' side. You had a common enemy, yet you'd rather kill him, who was very strong in helping you with the fight of the common enemy, just like you want to get rid of Assad. No, you may not be eye to eye, but if we got a common enemy, we'll team up together and get rid of that common enemy.
we should work together on this and other shared priorities. Finally, to the people and leaders of Iran, we want you to have a future, and a great future, one that you deserve, one of prosperity at home and harmony with the nations of the world. The United States is ready to embrace peace with all who seek it. I want to thank you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
No questions. I'm going to walk around with my mean-looking generals.
And that
I'm going
is
to
the
go back
response
into my
that
heavens.
the world was waiting to hear from
Going
the
back
President
into the
of the
light.
United States. Gloria Borger, let me bring...
So, guys, we heard his explanation. First of all, he tried to say it was our intelligence military that let us know a bomb was coming. No, the Iraqi people let you know. The Iranian people let you know that they're well able to attack, and they already demonstrated, look, we're going to send some bombs over there. You guys need to hightail it before it comes. If it was the case that it was your intelligence that let us know that those bombs was coming to the base, then you would have been upset at just the simple fact that they bombed it. But don't look like you're so upset. it looked like that somebody really talked to you and told you that what do you expect them to do? Of course they're going to retaliate, but at least they was good enough and kind enough not to try to get casualties. They just wanted to show their strength and nothing more. And it fights against your narrative that these Iranians are anti-Americans when Iranians are not anti-Americans. We got a lot of Iranians that love America, like we got Iraqis and people from all over the world love the American culture and love American people. They just don't like our government. It's the government that is starting to look like a terrorist. It's the government that it's the government leaders that cause people to put bounties on their heads. It's the government leaders that push people to the point where they hate you so much that they don't like you and they want you gone. Now, I don't agree with none of that stuff. I don't agree with assassinating people, especially people who are willing to work with us. It's just like, not Ayatollah Khomeini, but it's just like Muammar Gaddafi was helping us with ISIS too, but we killed him. We killing our people who are helping us with a common goal. To send them so-called message that we're not going to deal with any terrorists. How are you going to work with folks and you're knocking them out? Nobody's going to trust you, and that's the reason why Kim Jong-un hasn't killed his whole nuclear program. You're asking Israel, Iran to kill their nuclear ambitions, but yet you only asking Kim a little bit. Kim is not killing that, not for you or nobody. Why? Because he knows that's his leverage. That the moment he let go of his nuclear program, you're going to get rid of him. Guys, look, I'm done with this. The bottom line is we have a failed government. And they failed us on both sides of the aisle, Democratic and Republican. We have failed government leaders who tout their success, but internationally made us look like fools. At least Obama came in and pretty us up around certain people, but yet behind the scenes he was still doing his drone strikes and missing most of his targets and killing innocent people. And oftentimes they were Americans. And here Trump is going to manipulate and use the Iraqi leadership to draw this man out on peace talks, on fighting against the common enemy, and we're going to bomb him, the second man in charge of Iran, piss the whole people of Iran off, the whole entire government, including the people, really stab them in the heart. That's not going to get them to come on your side, Trump. It's just not. They're not going to look at you positively, and they're not going to look at you as a hero no matter how much you say that they're great people in a great country. It's going out the other ear because you killed somebody that they love. You may not like them, and you may see this guy as this person, but they don't see this guy as this person. And they have to deal with this guy more than you do. And now you done got to the point where these people put a bounty on your head and call you a terrorist. And I can imagine that might make you nervous because who wants somebody putting a bounty on their head and calling them a terrorist? Nobody. And you're supposed to be the guy who wants to look good in front of the world. Not just America, but you're the guy who's supposed to be, you want the popularity. You don't want to be hated. I know you're Trump. You don't want to be hated. You want the popularity. You want that popularity to be more than Obama. You want to be the popular and the greatest president ever, but you just messed that up, Doc. You would never be the greatest president ever doing something like that. It's over with, man. You killed your chance of being a great person, because in the eyes of history, they will look at you as the person who has ordered the assassination of another general in the army over false information. How you never consulted the American people, how you never consulted Congress about this unilateral my decision action to beef up your so-called legacy of being a terrorist killer. You got to be in that club, instead of saying, well, Obama got this one, Hillary Clinton got Gaddafi. Well, I got two people. You got to be in that club. You got to make the military complex, industrial complex happy. You just got to. You talked about the strength of the military. Guess what? That's not your military. That's ours. How about you consult with the American people before you send them out to clean up your dirty mess? That goes for anybody running for office. Biden, Bernie, anybody. Consult us first before you send those troops out. Consult us first before you talk about taking out leaders. And if you do take them out on your own, you're on your own. We had nothing to do with that. We didn't endorse you, we didn't push you, and it wasn't in our favor for you to do something like that. And now you've done killed the man who has a family that really loved him. You're no different from any kind of other war hawk. You have become a neocon. You yourself has become what you said you would not become. I'm done. This is Rob Brown with the Rob Report. I'll holler at you later. Peace.